A 24-week journey leads into an 8-week venture for 12 DeWalt Cup Series drivers as the chase for the championship begins at the Rockingham Speedway. Every moment, every lap, every decision is magnified in this quest for the championship. One wrong move could completely derail a driver's championship chances. An 8-race test of excellence and patience. It all kicks off with 79 laps in the Rheem 400 at one of the toughest driver tracks on the circuit. It's all next on JRTV. Welcome everyone to the Rockingham Speedway, the Rheem 400, for the first chase race of 8 in the 2025 DeWalt Cup Series season. I'm Joe Rudkowski, joined alongside the booth by Trey Bardo, and special guest, team owner of a team that has 2 drivers in the chase, On Around Motorsports. It is AG in the booth with us. AG, great to have you finally in the booth for the 25th race of the season, and what a race to be here for, the first race of the chase. You have Nathan Stapleton, Laura Chung battling for that championship. Stapleton comes in as the number 1 seed, Laura Chung as the 3rd seed. What do you think we're going to see here today at Rockingham? Do you think your drivers can start the chase on the right foot?
Well, they definitely can. I'm not looking forward to seeing Stapleton starting on the outside lane for this race, but it is a long race, and I know that Nathan and I know that Laura absolutely have the capabilities of winning here at the Rockingham Speedway. But we'll just have to see, because we've got Matt Tuck starting on the pole, and quite frankly, I think him and maybe Brian Rodriguez are the 2 biggest championship threats for us. We'll see what Bryce Egan does as well, but Matt Tuck, he's getting good at the right time, and we'll have to see if he ends up winning this race in that 11 machine with my driver Nathan Stapleton on the outside pole. But hey, great to be up here, and for those of you who are on my channel, you saw Joe and Trey call the Body Armor Pro Series race at Nazareth. I actually didn't join it for that. This time it's going to be the 3 of us, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you all enjoy this one as much as I will. Hopefully seeing my cars win. I know a lot of y'all don't enjoy that, but hey, we're all having a good time. It's going to be a fun race here at Rockingham Speedway.
Well, let's move on to someone else's cars, and that's Trey. Trey, you're up here in the booth. You have 2 cars starting inside the top 20. Eli Bright starts 15th, Matthew Burnett 17th. Crucially, both are on the inside lane. Obviously, you're underdogs now. You know, the chase starts. The big teams are going to pick it up even more now, and those big 3 teams that have won however many months down in a row, and now you have 3 drivers that have won like 8 races in a row between those 3. Eli, Burnett, Seaman are the underdogs, along with everyone else not in the chase, and even some drivers in the chase. So do you think today one of those underdogs can upset the big 3 teams and try and get to victory lane for the first time since Boston?
I think all my drivers, as well as every other driver that's not in the chase, has one thing on their mind, and that's the win at any cost. Doesn't matter if it's against a driver in the chase. Who cares? A win's a win, right? So I think that's the mentality of everyone else in the field right now. So it's going to be really interesting to see if any sort of strategy or aggression comes out to play with those types of standards. But Joe, I don't think we're underdogs. I think we're just letting everyone else shine for a little bit. That's what it is.
You're preparing for 2026 already, is what you're saying. You're
ready
to take over the crown there.
Plans in the making. You don't even know.
I do.
Hey.
Fellow team owner knows what's going on in the garage, huh?
They're in the making.
Yeah. Well, let's focus on this season. Let's focus on the chase. The top 9 starters are all in the chase. You have Matt Tuck on pole. That's crucial because, once again, pole positions give out bonus points. You get 3 points per pole. So Matt Tuck came in 15 points back. He's now 12 points back as it stands, as it starts. Nathan Stapleton, the number 1 seed, starts in 2nd here today. Gabe Willard got in the last wild card. He's 12th in the seeding. He starts 3rd, so what a great qualifying run for that Southern Cross Racing driver. Brian Rodriguez won the regular season championship, seeded 2nd, he starts 4th. And then running at the top 5, Laura Chung hasn't won since Memorial Day at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, but she's been very, very consistent, and she came in as the 3rd seed in the chase. Max Davis starts in 6th, still looking for that first win of the season. Dover could have been it. Unfortunately for him, they played the wrong strategy at Vision Motorsports for basically every car in that stable. Chris Jericho starts in 7th. He just beat teammate Keegan Thompson to get inside the top 10 in points, and with those 3 wins, he's now the 6th seed. Bryce Egan has been very, very consistent, but hasn't won since March. He starts 8th. He's looking to turn that around. Comes in, though, as the 4th seed. Jerry Chen starts in 9th. He's been hot and cold throughout the summer. and obviously hasn't won, only has that one win, hasn't won since the Texas Motor Speedway. He comes in as a 7th seed. Then you get some non-chasers. Philip Torres, Lathan Strickland, and Justin Zeidel. Will obviously try and focus on them as much as we can throughout the race if they're running well. Try and highlight some of the drivers not in the chase that are doing just as well as some of the chasers. Jude Martinelli, the next chaser, the 10th starting chaser. He starts 13th here today. He has a lot of ground to make up in points, 28 points back, comes in as the 10th seed. Then you have to go back to 16th place, Riley Spurleytube, who enters a good bit down as well, 26 points below Nathan Stapleton. Then all the way down to 23rd place on the start is Jack Haas for Galway Automotive. Once again, comes in as a wild card, so gets no bonus points. He's 11th seeded entering into this chase. So we know where the 12 chase drivers are starting for the first ever DeWalt Cup Series chase race, and we'll see how it goes here today at the Rockingham Speedway. Let's now move on to the picks to win. I once again won up Trey last time out at Dover, but still a good ways back, about 2.5 average positions behind Trey with 8 races left, so it's going to be a tall task to make up, but we'll see if I can continue throughout here into Rockingham, and we'll let the guests go first. So, AG, who are you taking to win here today in the Rheem 400 at the Rockingham Speedway?
Well, you got Joe Rakowski and you got Trey Bartow, and this guy is kind of like my Trey Bartow in a way, because we have him in the booth for a lot of the Wall Cup Series races, and you know what, I gotta pick him because he is one of the best drivers in this series, and I think he's going to have a very good opportunity winning this race from the pole position, giving Matt Tuck, who did not get off to a good start this season, but I think over the past few weeks has been one of the best drivers in this series, and is definitely the driver I'm watching out the most in the championship fight against my two drivers of Nathan Stapleton and Laura Chung. But Matt Tuck, he's gonna get this race victory here today in the first race of the chase.
Very good pick, Trey. How are you gonna one up that pick?
Well, Tuck might be the Trey Bartow to AG there, but this driver is my golden ticket to beating Joe this week in the competition we have. I'm going with the driver starting in 5th place. It's going to be, AG's driver, Laura Chung. I think, Joe, okay, I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's been a couple weeks since I've won this thing, and I'm kind of getting tired of not winning. So, please, Laura Chung, please just please just do me good. That's all I ask.
Hey, she's my driver too, so you're picking kind of both of our drivers, not in this series, but in AG's World Cup Series. So, just saying.
It doesn't matter. This is a competition for this series.
It all ties back around. It just all ties back around. I'm going to take completely different team than the two you took. I'm going to take the other of the big 3 teams. I'm taking Brian Rodriguez, who won the regular season championship, and I think he's going to win this first race and put himself on top of the points, exiting the first race of the chase here at the Rockingham Speedway. 42 cars are rolling off, ready to do battle in the Rheem 400. Matt Tuck, Nathan Stapleton in the front row, 2 championship favorites as we take a look at the DeWalt track facts. Just over a mile in length. I know they've changed it in real life to under a mile. We're still considering it 1.017 miles long, which means it's a 79 lap race. And the fuel window is something to watch out for. It's more of a pit window, more of a tire window. They can probably go about 45, 50 laps on fuel, but they're going to be pitting as soon as they get into their pit window for tires. They'll go just after the halfway point. We'll see if the undercut or the overcut works here today. We're seeing a lot of tire fall off, over 2.5 seconds of fall off. And we'll see how that plays into this race. Tuck will be the first to step on the gas, and we're racing for a championship in the DeWalt Cup Series at Rockingham. What a jump for Matt Tuck. He got away clear into the lead. Laura Chung follows up to second, already again by Gabe Willard. And Matt Tuck adds another bonus point to his list. So we got 3 for the pole, now 1 for leading a lap as he leads the first lap of the Rheem 400. Laura Chung to second. Battle is on for third. Willard trying to keep it. Brian Rodriguez went from 4th down to the bottom lane in front of teammate Chris Jericho, 3 wide further back in the pack. Front 5 get clear in single file. Jerry Chen for 6. Stapleton still dropping back with Max Davis on the outside. Strickland leading his teammate in the chase. Jude Martinelli up towards the front as Tuck still leads at the front. Philip Torres trying to get by his teammate Nathan Stapleton, who started second but has not found a way down in line. He's now outside the top 10 as Bryce Egan goes by him. Burnett and Eli Bright close off turn 2.
Don't really like what I'm seeing out of Nathan Stapleton there, and I was concerned about that with him starting on that outside lane. But I do like what I'm seeing out of Laura Chung, and a great start for her, but that outside lane is just such a tough place to be, and he'll rebound as... There goes Laura Chung for the race lead. She has not won since Memorial Day, and here she goes for the top position. Going to make that look easy on Matt Tuck here on lap number 4.
Had to make it work right there. The tires have the grip, and that's where you can make most of the passes. When those tires have all the grip in the world right now, once they start falling off, it'll be harder to make those passes work because you're not going to be able to get to the gas so hard off the corner. Gabe Willard recovered from his poor start, got put to the top by Laura Chung, got back down in line in third, and now he's up to second again by Matt Tuck, who dropped back on the outside. So maybe the 11 going to try and save his tires a little bit. Nathan Stapleton is in line back there behind Bryce Egan behind Max Davis in the 12th position. Rodriguez gets by for third on Matt Tuck. Jericho up to fourth by Matt Tuck, who might slip back into fifth place in front of Jerry Chen. We'll see if he can get down, and he does. So Tuck falls from the lead down to fifth, but still in line and still early on here at Rockingham. Jerry Chen up to sixth. How about this run? Lathan Strickland leading his teammate Jude Martinelli. They're seventh and eighth at the moment. Strickland not in the chase tray, but making those non-chasers known at the front of the field. There's a lot of yellow spoilers around him. Strickland doesn't have one, but he's looking to stay up there and stay inside the top 10, top 5.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, if the drivers that are not in this chase, they got one thing on their mind, and that's to go out there and, you know, get the victory lane. So they're going to do whatever they can. They don't really have any anything to really risk at this point, right? I mean, they don't have, the chase standings to risk. So they can go out there and make a big gamble. If it doesn't work out, well, worst comes to worst, they lose a little bit of money probably with their finishing position. But other than that, not much else there to hurt them. So we'll have to see what all happens here, as they're going to be battling hard out there. But this battle right here is heating up, as Egan's going to go down to the inside of Martinelli, and Stapleton is going to try to follow suit there with his teammate behind him.
I really think there, as Bryce Egan gets to 8th by Martinelli, that Bryce Egan is, he's one of the best drivers this season, right? He was second in regular season points at the end of the regular season, and he has those 2 wins that came very earlier in the season. But I think he's one to watch for this championship. He's been uber consistent as of late. Though he hasn't won many races this season, hasn't won since March. I think he's one to watch out for in this championship, one that could easily sneak up on the Matt Tucks, the Nathan Stapletons, Laura Chung's, Brian Rodriguez's, and can get up there and challenge for the championship himself. He's going to get another spot, so 2 false cars in about the span of a lap or 2. Got by Martinelli first for 8th, and gets by Strickland for 7th. Lathan's going to get in line in 8th, try and get in front of Nathan Stapleton, who's trying his conquest back up to the front of the field. He started 2nd, remember, dropped back outside the top 10 to start. Now he's all the way already back up to 9th, and looking for more on Lathan Strickland off turn 4.
That 75 looks really quick. I think once this race gets along, he's going to be one of the faster cars. I'm also very impressed with Philip Torres in that 77. At least in this race, he hasn't had the best of seasons compared to our other 2 drivers this year, but he still held very well and having a good race here so far, and I'd love to see all 3 of our guys get top 10s here today. But I should stop talking about my own team. That's what I know. I know that team. I know Matt Tuck. But how about some of these other guys who have had a good run? How about that 27 machine? I haven't seen Southern Cross Racing as a whole be as strong as the big 3, but he's holding his own right now in that 2nd position there. Gabe Willard doing a great job, and you also got Chris Jericho and Brian Rodriguez, who are right behind him. Of course, all these guys are chase drivers. Chris Rodriguez, Jericho, and Matt Tuck all have won multiple times this year, and there goes Rodriguez to the inside, and we'll have to see if that 62 can close in on Laura Chung for this race lead.
Yeah, once Laura Chung got to the lead and Gabe Willard slid into 2nd, Laura Chung pulled a gap up to now about a 1.5 seconds. Willard's finally going to surrender 2nd to the Toussaint cars of Rodriguez and Jericho. Matt Tuck coming back through, trying to get to 4th. His teammate Bryce Egan is hunting down, and here comes Nathan Stapleton once again. Southern Cross car going to get past this lap, and it's going to be Nathan Stapleton, just like Gabe Willard got passed by a few. Now Jerry Chen loses the spot to Nathan Stapleton as well. So move Nathan up to 7th. Willard's drop back to 4th and now make it 5th, and then probably make it 6th because Bryce Egan's also coming through. So at the front, Otter Island Motorsports leads this race, and you have 2 Toussaint cars and 2 Vision Motorsports cars trying to run her down, but it's a 2-second gap at the front of the field, 14 laps in, and Bryce Egan looking to pass teammate Matt Tuck. Not the best corner entrance. Tuck gets the run through the middle of the corner. Egan tries to complete the exit, but can't quite do that, and will settle in line right there between Willard and Matt Tuck. And Looks like Egan's car, though, is wrapping the corners pretty well. He didn't have to slide up the hill through 3 and 4. We see a lot of drivers do that, try to get speed. But if you can keep your car a little bit lower, it can really help your speed on the corner exit. That's what happened with Bryce Egan. And he gets to 4th place around teammate Matt Tuck. So Bryce Egan coming alive as well. Matt Tuck is continuing to kind of struggle. Led those first few laps, but ever since then hasn't been able to find a groove and hasn't been able to move back forward. He's continually dropped back since he lost that lead.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see that, and definitely frustrating for him and his team, right? But eventually, you know, we know this 11 car. We know Matt Tuck. They seem to struggle in the first half of the race to come pit stops, and then once pit stops happen, they make the changes that seems to turn that car into an absolute rocket ship going towards the front. But by that point, it's you know, almost too late to really take advantage of it, right? But we'll have to see what he can. He has a hole here to see if he can get down to the bottom front of the 7-7. He does do that, but is it maybe too late to really, you know, be happy to get down there, because he's falling back all the way to 10th right now. So we'll have to see what this 11 team can do. But I don't know about you guys, but I'm watching this timer, or this lap times and the distance between everyone, and it seems like every time we pass, Laura Chung just gains another 10th on everyone else. That was 2 10ths.
She's doing a really good job out in front. I really hope she's saving the tires, because she still has to go. You know, this is only about halfway through a tire run, so she has to manage them as well. And obviously, the faster she goes, the faster she'll catch up to lap traffic. We'll see if she can negotiate there, as Stapleton negotiates another car back up to the top 5 for the driver of the 75. Jerry Chen will come through in the bottom lane to get 6th by teammate Gabe Willard. Martinelli trying to come back up to the front, going for 7th on Willard, but it looks like he'll try to keep 8th for now. Matt Tuck now 9th as he got by Lathan Strickland, and Philip Torres is up inside the top 10, the highest non-chaser, right where he started in 10th. And you have Strickland 11th, Matthew Burnett having a solid day for Mean Motorsports in 12th. Max Davis kind of struggling in 13th. He's just kind of there, just kind of waiting around looking for something to happen in front. Jack Haas has moved up from his starting spot in 14th. Justin Zeidel leads EKH Enterprises in 15th. Riley Spurgeon back to where he started. He started on the outside, dropped back at the start, and he's back up to 16th by Jordan Stout, Zachary DeLello, Eli Bright, Keegan Thompson complete the top 20. Crown Jr. Joshua Cox are just outside the top 20. Ludovic Charette leading the run for Red Lightning Racing here today. Jacob Miller, the lowest of the Phil Sport cars. Levi Schoen's back here as well. There's William Seaman about where he started in that 00. And Bruno Diacono, last car in the top 30 as we scroll back through. And these are going to be cars that the leaders will be catching not that long. The distance and the gaps, the lap times between cars from top to bottom here is very much exaggerated. See, Laura Chung is already catching up to the back of the field, and Chris Jericho has caught up to and passed teammate Brian Rodriguez. But they are over 3 seconds now adrift from Laura Chung, as it's Jericho to second, Bryce Egan to third. Those two battled in the mid-season tournament. Egan came out on top that day, and then at the Bristol Motor Speedway, they battled for the win, and Jericho came on top for the race victory that day. Well, here they are now second and third, but they have a lot of working together to do to chase down Laura Chung. That gap now, AG, is up over 3 seconds from that 79 to the 54 and the 18.
And to your point, you know, I just hope that Laura's not running her tires out and ends up losing an advantage. Though I think the fact that we're going to have a pit stop right at halfway in this race is going to help her out. And then from that point, she can have the advantage. You could really gain on somebody, and that cycle of pit stops will determine who ends up getting this race victory. You can really make significant gains if you come down a couple laps before somebody else. The only thing is, if this race stays green the whole way through, then those drivers who came in later are actually going to have an advantage later on in the run at the end of the race, especially if they split it even here today. So we're just going to have to see. We're closing in probably about 15 laps or so from that halfway point in the race. And you're going to have to make sure you got good tires on that car when it matters most. Bryce Egan, another driver who has had an excellent run in this race, up to the 3rd position, and Nathan Stapleton's rebounded very well. I'm definitely interested in what went wrong there with Matt Tuck in the 11 machine. Got stuck in that outside lane. His teammate, of course, Bryce Egan, doing an excellent job, and there he goes for second. If there's anyone that can get to Laura Chung in this race, it's a Vision Motorsports car. Not to say that Chris Jericho and Brian Rodriguez can't do it. They can definitely do it as well, but these Vision Motorsports cars, they are some of the best cars, if not the best cars on the racetrack, and Bryce Egan up there to the 2nd position now in this 18 machine.
They have good cars on the racetrack. Their problem has been pit road. They just, sometimes they've had slow stops, sometimes they've had the wrong strategy, and as of late, it's kind of been the wrong strategy. Think to Nazareth and Dover, they gave up a lot of time and a lot of positions on pit road those days, and potentially cost race victories on both of those races. So we'll have to see if they have the right strategy here today, whether it be overcut, undercut. We won't know what the right strategy is until we get to the end and we see who crosses the checker flag in front. But at the moment, Nathan Stapleton is still gunning forward, getting by Brian Rodriguez for fourth, making that look easy. Bryce Egan pulling away from Chris Jericho now. The gap at the front is now 4 seconds from Laura Chung back to Bryce Egan. It continues to grow, and she's doing a great job. She's gotten by 2 lap cars already. It's the 58 and the 57 she's gotten by. 59 is next on the list. And then she has a little bit of a gap up to then Mathis Wells, Noah Brady, and Angel Gutierrez as she'll move low on Tegan Fox here. Looks to get by the 40th place car, that number 59 for OSC Racing. 4 seconds is the gap. It continues to stay consistent there even as she gets by Tegan Fox, who gets a little wide and into the wall. Now Bryce Egan and Chris Jericho and Stapleton all working around. Chris Keselowski have to give a call to Jude Martinelli, who's worked his way back up to 6th for Vos Autosport. That's a team that continues to just get better and better and more consistent as this season has gone on. Jerry Chen and Gabe Willard. Max Davis finally moving forward. We saw him last in about 12th or 13th. Now he's up to 9th and gaining on those Southern Cross racing cars. So Max Davis doing a great job here in that number 16. Matt Tuck has dropped back to 10th. He was 9th. So his teammate Davis got around him. Strickland and Burnett still there. And Riley Spurgeon now up inside the top 15. His teammate Zedell has dropped back to 19th, and now Riley hunting on the door of Jack Haas. Those are the 2 lowest chasers as they run in the Rheem 400. Riley Spurgeon trying to change the fact that he's the lowest of them. He'll move to the inside. He'll grab 14th away from Haas. The next on his list will be Philip Torres for the number 13 position, as these two still side by side. And Riley's going to get the pass off of Jack Haas. And Trey, you can see these tires have given up all grip. Jack Haas was a 4-wheeled slide off of turn number 2, got into the fence a little bit, and these drivers have to be screaming for tires. The tires are probably screaming too, but the drivers have to be screaming, but crew chiefs have to be saying you have to go about 7, 8, 9, 10 more laps before we're in our pit window.
Yeah, you pretty much just got to muck it out from here until you get to that window, right? You just got to pretty much hold on and just work with what you got, and it's going to be a real struggle. As you can see, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place are finally catching up to the lap traffic that Laura Chung has gotten by 10 laps ago, I feel like, and they are just now getting up there as she's got past a group of another 3 and looking at the back of, I believe that is the 48. So she has one mission on her mind, that's go forward. Unless these guys behind them, that was a big speed difference there, Joe. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Stapleton at Bristol. Does that bring up bad memories?
Maybe for someone in the booth it does, yeah. But we watched a pretty decent race at Bristol, all things considered. But Stapleton is still moving forward. That it stayed about consistent up to his teammate Laura Chung. So if he plays the better strategy compared to Laura Chung, which who knows what they want to do over there on Island Motorsports, what the crew chiefs are thinking on the box. But we'll see. Nathan Stapleton has had a pretty solid car, and the gap is fluctuating around this 4 second now that they've gotten into lap traffic. Laura Chung obviously working her way around whatever car she can, and then the rest behind her doing so as well. It's just going to be about where you catch and how you catch. But how about this? Brian Rodriguez has really struggled at this stage in the race, but Jude Martinelli is coming alive for 5th place. So those big 3 teams, they currently hold the top 5 spots. Well, Jude Martinelli is trying to change that, put a full Autosport car maybe inside the top 5 before pit stops, and see if they can play the right strategy to keep that track position. But Martinelli AG is looking pretty fast here. Kind of a surprising, not surprising in the fact that he is looking fast, because Fos Autosport has been coming alive as of late. They've really been fast, especially with Jude Martinelli. But for him to be up here first race of the chase, contending with these top 3 teams, it's got to be pretty good for team owner Octavian Speedings and Martinelli, the driver.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Laura Chung overdoing the tires, and that might be what Martinelli has done, is actually just save the tires and maybe a little bit more grip in those things. I say that inside lane had no grip at all going into the corner, but you never know when something crazy can happen in one of these chase races. And there's only 8 chase races for you guys here in the DeWalt Cup Series, so there's less time to recover from a possible accident or blown motor, and those kinds of things can happen to the big teams, and they can happen to each of the big teams, and then someone like Martinelli can have a perfect, top 10 every race in the chase and end up winning the championship. So you want to get those points while you can. It's only the first race of the chase, and Fossar Sport, they've done a solid job with these other three teams. I know there's a clear difference between the top three teams and the rest of the field, but that does not mean that there are not good drivers outside of that. And Martinelli's definitely one of those good drivers, made the chase, and currently running top 5 here halfway through this race.
And we are nearing pit stops now, so we completed 39 laps. We'll complete 40 at the line. Stapleton on the back bumper. Bryce Egan for a second maybe wants to take that spot away before we get to pit stops. We'll see if he can try and accomplish that, if he can come into pit road in second. And Laura Chung, where is she? Well, she's gone by a bunch of cars since we last saw her. She's now up to Tim Gary, got by him 32nd place. So we have 31 cars on the lead lap as it stands. 2 more Fitzwater Australia Racing cars are next ahead, but now we're past midway. And this pit window is open, and we'll see what the teams decide to do. Is the undercut what they want to do? Is the overcut what they want to do? If you're Laura Chung, you kind of have to stay out, I feel like, until these guys back here start to pit. You have such a big gap. You don't want to, come in early, have a caution come out, maybe try to be a lap down if things go the wrong way. See, Martinelli got to 5th by Brian Rodriguez. And Jerry Chen, who had been falling back to 8th place, he's going to come in early along with Philip Torres. So we have some split strategy already, as a few cars have decided to come in on lap number 42, and Laura Chung is going to give the lead to come in now in the 79 tray.
So I'll be curious to see if second, they're all going to stay out, Joe. So this will be interesting here. Laura Chung is going to get the tire advantage early on here, and she's going to hope that her speed can continue after this pit stop, and everyone else behind her doesn't really make the adjustments to kind of combat that, and just have a big enough gap near the end of this thing. As you can see, a couple more cars are staying out for a little bit longer. We'll see how our pit stop is. Just put it in there, right side's up, off the car, back on the car, and then there, so on and so forth with the left sides. As long as there's no weird action here on pit road, I don't see why she's going to be at fault here, because it should
Bryce
be
Egan stayed out again.
Open and clean.
Bryce Egan stayed out again, so he's doing an overcut strategy. He's going as long as he can on these tires, as long as they want to go. Great stop for Laura Chung. She gets down away. Here's Bryce Egan. He is not yet pitted. He's the only car on the racetrack that really hasn't. Now he's finally going to relinquish that lead. How much time has he given up, though, is the question. And where is Jericho and Nathan Stapleton, who came in as the next highest compared to Laura Chung? Jericho doing his service on pit road. The left sides has to wait maybe a little bit for those lap cars.
Oh.
And Nathan Stapleton with a great stop. He's going to leave Jericho way behind, but Laura Chung is already off turn 2 at speed. So Laura Chung with the undercut has a massive gap. We'll see if those tires start to hurt at the end of the race. And you can see the undercut for Jerry Chen. He's going to be up to maybe 3rd place here, it looks like. So what a call it was for some of these teams. There you can see Jerry Chen. I think he is going to be 3rd behind those 2 Honor Island cars. You can see Bryce Egan leaving, but he is going to be a long ways back. As there go cars by. There's Stapleton. There's Chen. In fact, he might actually stay with Jericho. So that 54 just had a really bad stop. The fact that Bryce Egan, who stayed out a lap longer, is still going to be with him and maybe even ahead. Jericho has momentum coming to that number 18, but Bryce Egan now has the better tires, and Laura Chung's lead is almost 7 seconds at the front of the field. That undercut worked well. Jerry Chen then 9 seconds back. Bryce Egan 11 seconds back. So Laura Chung, she had the big gap already. Then she decided to make it even bigger with the undercut. We'll see if those tires can last the distance. But if they can, she's looking pretty good out in front.
Yeah, the thing is, Bryce Egan's now going to be at the advantage. Her tires by a couple of laps, and they're playing the long game, thinking that this race is going to stay green the rest of the way through. But 11 seconds might be a bit too tall of a task, even with any tire advantage, with only coming about 40 or 30 laps to go in this race. So, I don't know, I like what I'm seeing right now. I'm being cautiously optimistic about this, because we've seen a lot of crazy things happen this season. But how about Laura Chung? Hasn't won since Memorial Day with, I believe it was Charlotte. Yeah. And, I was actually talking with Matt the other day, and Laura's kind of fallen off just a little bit these past few races. I don't know if she's really going to have anything for the chase. Well, so far she has completely proven me wrong, and I'm happy about that. And right now, 1-2 for our team at our Island Motorsports. And we also got Philip in the top 10 as well. So I'm hoping that stays, because, I'm still hoping for that owner's title as well. And so far this race is playing in our favor, at least in that regard.
Yeah, Vision Motorsports, they have Bryce Egan up there in 4th, but then Matt Tuck and Max Davis, they've dropped outside the top 10. Tuck's all the way down to 18th, and Max Davis is 12th. as this great battle for sixth has been going on. Riley Spurleytube trying to work over Gabe Willard. These two gained some time and gained some track position by doing a little bit of an undercut strategy against the guys they were racing around. So Riley went from outside the top 10 to now going to be sixth. In fact, in the drag race up Thunder Alley with Gabe Willard, Philip Torres joins into the party along with Jude Martinelli. So this is a 4-car jam session right here for 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Martinelli, remember, was about 5th place when he came into pit road. He stayed out a little bit longer than these guys, so dropped back a little bit. Now here's trying to regain some lost ground. That's 8th by Torres, maybe 7th by Willard here if he can get it done off turn 2. Got a little tight, it looks like had to lift a little bit as the gap at the front still stays consistent, about 7 seconds between Laura Chung and her teammate Nathan Stapleton, as Martinelli runs about half a lane lower than Gabe Willard and is trying to get that pass done for 7th place. A look to the inside of turn 1, enter right on that yellow line, but a little bit too low. As further back, Brian Rodriguez all the way down to 10th in the 62. It's just not been a day that this 62 team wants to remember. Max Davis in 11th. Burnett still hanging tough in 12th. Jack Haas 13th. George Stout to 14th. DeLello 15th. But this is the big story. Matt Tuck all the way down to 17th from pole position and trying to regain lost ground from pit road. So once again, Vision Motorsports and pit road, it just has not been a good theme this season. And, wrong strategy calls and just slow pit stops, mistakes on pit road. It's happened to them pretty much all season long, Trey. And now here they are. It's hurt Matt Tuck all the way down to 17th. Max Davis back outside the top 10. And Bryce Egan 2 spots lower than where he started pit cycles.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what a season would look like if, pit road wasn't really a thing, right? I mean, he would be. I mean, he's already a big conversation for, the title contender, but it'd be even better if pit stops were a little bit cleaner. But right now, we're looking at Bryce Egan, who has the tire advantage on everyone else inside the top 10, and he is still looking at almost 11.3 seconds behind Laura Chung, which is crazy to think, because that is it's a lot of time. A lot of laps left. That's a lot of time.
It's a whole lot of time, as Bryce Egan does get to a 3rd. Jericho gets to 4th. Jerry, to remember, was the earliest of the pitters, so he drops back to 5th. He's on the oldest tires, and just trying to make them last to the checkered flag and get whatever spots he can. I believe he was about 8th or 9th. He was 8th place when he pitted, so he wants to finish at least 8th or better to make sure that this strategy works out in his favor. As we go back up to the front, you see all these cars. Drew Webb has been on pit road since pit cycles, so obviously an issue there, probably mechanically on the 45. There's where Laura Chung is in the 79. And she is lapped all the way up to 20th place. Levi Shones in the 96, then Jacob Miller next car. So Laura Chung is picking them up, putting them down. Eli Bright's a lap down. Roberto Crown Jr., Anthony Hernandez, Ludovic Charette, William Seaman, Joshua Cox, Cam Wright Jr., Johnny Cox, Tyler Belladonna, Alex Evitale, Bruno Diacomo, Tim Gary, and then you have cars that are multiple laps down, like the 58, 59, 57. Lathan Strickland's fallen 5 laps down, so he obviously had some issues maybe on pit road or maybe had to make an extra pit stop. But Strickland, who was having a very solid day for Full Sail Sport, now 41st, 5 laps down. Obviously, as we mentioned, Drew Webb has had some issues on pit road. Maybe some sort of mechanical problem has put him over 20 laps down and possibly maybe out of this race and not with a shot to continue on. Nathan Stapleton is cutting into the lead by a few tenths. But the problem, AG, with that is that with 20 laps to go, a few tenths is not going to cut it when you're 6.6 seconds back. And oh, by the way, you have a whole bunch of lap cars to fly through as well.
With all things considered, I'm happy with Nathan's race because, it's our other driver, Laura Chung, leading this thing. So I'm quite happy with what's going on right now. And I think with all the bonus points, it would probably put him... I think Nathan might actually still be the points leader going into our next race by like 1 point over Laura Chung. So we'd have the top 2 points, or top 2 spots in points. It's hard not to talk about your own team when they do this well, and I'm happy to see this. I'm happy to be in the booth and see this, and we're still haven't closed it out yet. Still about 20 laps left to go, but still some other guys who have had a very good run. Martinelli's still up there, running there in the 7th position, and Riley Spurleytube with a great run as well in the 28 machine. Those are a couple guys who were not on the big 3 teams who are holding on to a top 10 run. Same with the 27 of Gabe Willard as well. Great runs by all of these drivers here today. And, they're definitely guys who I can see possibly stealing a win before the end of the season. It may not necessarily be the big 3 teams getting the race victories the rest of the season, though. I do think it might be ours here today. I'm feeling pretty good about that.
There could be some catastrophic event that happens. You never know with NR, but it is looking good at the
Yeah,
moment.
I've seen it. I've seen it. I know.
We've seen tires blow on the last lap. We've seen, engine detonations late in these races. So anything could happen. It's still not over until that checkered flag falls. But at the moment, it is Laura Chung, Nathan Stilts, and then 11 seconds back to the next team. So looking good there. Martinelli back up to 6th by Willard and Riley Spurt, who drops back to 8th. Max Davis trying to come back forward just like at Dover, where he lost a lot of ground on pit road. He entered about, 7th place here today into pit road. Now he was back outside the top 10, gaining some back. Now he has 3 more spots just in front of him. Philip Torres trying to keep the top 10 over Brian Rodriguez. The 6'2", a little bit too fast at this stage. He'll get around that number 77. Burnett still hanging tough just outside the top 10. And then Matt Tuck is continuing to move forward, trying to get back up to 13th by chaser Jack Haas. And not too far behind is our race leader Laura Chung, who's just lapped 2 more cars and now has 18th, 17th, 16th lined up just in front of her. So this is just an absolute, just absolute domination from Laura Chung here today. And I think the strategy call worked in her favor. And really how the strategy call works is you already have that big gap. You come in, you make it bigger, and yeah, you have a little bit worse tires, and maybe they are slower in clear racetrack, but Trey, when everyone is having to negotiate through lap traffic, is it really all that much slower to have older tires by a lap or two, because everyone is kind of getting held up by a car that's maybe not as fast out in front, because they have to wait for an opportunity to get by, rather than just running your fast laps, qualifying laps, out there by yourself on a clear racetrack. You just don't have clear racetrack at a track like Rockingham.
Yeah, well, 100%. So, it's a weird way to think about it, but the way they did their call is almost like a win-win. Because, one, you get new tires earlier, so you get to grow your lead, and at the same time, the car in second place might have newer tires than you, but they, 1, got to push themselves to get up to you, 2, have to get around lap traffic, and 3, you got such a big gap as it is already that, by the time they get there, they're not going to have anything left in their car to battle you with. So, I don't see... In all honesty, if Laura Chung would have played any strategy there with the lead she had going into the pit stops, I don't see how they could have muffed it up unless it was the pit stop itself.
Yeah, exactly so. But here's a good battle for 6th between 2 good friends. Max Davis hunting down Jude Martinelli for 6th position as they race up Thunder Alley here. Martinelli in front, trying to keep that 6th position. They're about 3 seconds adrift from Jerry Chen, so unless the 16 can get by and put a hurry on with 11 laps to go, I think our top 5 are pretty much locked up, although Chen is starting to fall back. Remember, he was the first car to come into pit road, so has the oldest tires out there on the racetrack, and Max Davis has some of the newer tires comparatively, so we'll just have to see. Gap at the front is down to about 5.5 seconds. Nathan Stilton has cut to that gap through lap traffic, now down to 5 seconds with 10 laps to go. So he is catching. Laura Chung probably being conservative around some of these cars, especially since she's around some pretty, not fast compared to her, but fast, compared to they're inside the top 15. So she had to get by Keegan Thompson, who's running in 16th. Jacob Miller is running in 17th. Those are not slow cars by any means. She just had to find a way around them, and probably was just being conservative, knowing she has a really big gap, and she doesn't have to win by 6 or 7 seconds. She can win by 6 or 7 tenths if she wants to. It's still the same. She gets the same amount of points no matter what. But come back around to 8 laps to go. She has about 5 seconds in hand over teammate Nathan Stipton. Nathan's been the dominator as of late. 5 wins on the season. 3 of them have come throughout this summer months. And here today, it looks like Laura Chung is trying to take hold of the Otter Island crown. And let's have to see how it plays out over these final 8 laps. Looking good, though, for Laura Chung as she races up the backstretch. Nice gap over Nathan Stapleton. Tires are starting to wear out. Cars are starting to slip and slide around. And you never know. I think Jerry Chen really starting to fall off. He's now within a 1.5 seconds of Max Davis. So Max Davis fell back on pit road, but he's making the most of it. He's the highest he's been all race long and looking to crack the top 5 for the first time today in these final 10 laps and put himself up there, into a top 5 position to finish the first race of the chase after what looked to be a little bit of a disaster. Not too bad for Max Davis here today.
Yeah, good run for him. That was a really good rebound for Max Davis, and it's the one guy Vision has had, a tough race is Matt Tuck, even though he's starting to move his way back up. He may end up cracking the top 10 as well. He's got to get around Brian Rodriguez, so, even Matt Tuck's bad day, he's still having a very good day compared to a lot of these guys. You just got around my guy, Philip Torrey, so definitely a great team there, Vision Motorsports, and what they put together and what we put together, what Dusant Racing puts together. We've all done very good this season, and I don't know what else there is to say. Laura Chung is just her.
Laura
today.
Chung pitted.
Oh no!
Laura
Oh,
Chung
no.
pitted from the lead. Nathan
Oh, my
Stapleton's now to the
goodness.
lead.
Well, now I'm sad.
I just saw the telemetry change. Nathan Stapleton is now the leader of this race, coming back around to 4 laps to go here at Rockingham.
Oh,
She
a tire
had
went
it.
down.
I can't believe it.
You
And
spoke
that's-
it into
sad.
existence, Dro.
Yep, we were talking about these races are not over until they are over. And oh my goodness, you just can't make it up. You just cannot make it up. The chase starts, and stuff like this starts. Now, Laura Chung, who looked like she was going to be up there with her teammate Nathan Stapleton battling for that championship lead, is now going to have to dig herself out of a hole after a day where it looked like she was going to be perfect. And battle for 4th is still ongoing, 3 laps to go. Max Davis has caught Jerry Chen onto the bumper. Now this battle for 5th turned into a battle for 4th. And Matt Tuck has moved up inside the top 10, and Laura Chung is going to finish probably down in a 41st place in that number 79. Stapleton has 5 seconds in hand over Bryce Egan, coming back around to 2 laps to go here at the Rockingham Speedway. So Trey, these races, they just continue to go crazy.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. You know, I don't know what to say. I just want to win, Joe. I just want to win.
Hey, I don't feel good either, Trey.
Driver thing for one more time. No, I can't. I don't understand.
Well, there's the white flag for Nathan Stapleton. He has a mile to go at the Rockingham Speedway, and he'll claim another victory to be a 6th on the season through 25 races today. It wasn't so straightforward, though. He had to rely on his teammate Laura Chung having some mechanical problems, and now working through the final 2 corners. It's a 6th victory for Nathan Stapleton, back-to-back for him as he wins at the Rockingham Speedway. We'll wait about 5 seconds for Bryce Egan to come across. He'll claim 2nd in this race. Chris Jericho will claim 3rd. 4th will go to Davis. 5th will go to Jerry Chen. Martinelli, Willard, Rodriguez, Spurley-Tube, and Matt Tuck are the top 10 finishers. But you can't say enough about what Nathan Stapleton has just done as of late this season. He won Chicagoland not that long ago, and I mean he just continues. Nazareth, and then Dover, and now here at Rockingham. This AG, you have a driver here that is he's peaking at the right time of the season.
Yes, he is, and I'm proud of him. I wish this win came under different circumstances, though, because Laura absolutely deserved to win that one, but I don't know. I mean, I've done this game, and you have too, Joe, for 10 years, and you know how it can be. It will surprise you in the most unexpected ways, and I am gutted for Laura right now, because she had that win, she earned that win, and in return, she's going to end up finishing 41st because of a blown tire, and this is nothing to do about that. This is the one driver that has that issue is the most dominant driver of the race within 5 laps to go. You can't make it up.
NR giveth and NR taketh at points, and today was one of those days. They gaveth a good car, they tooketh the race victory for some odd reason. That's just what the game decided it wanted to do today, and unfortunately for Laura Chung, as you mentioned, she was going to have basically a perfect points day, bar the fact that she didn't win the pole for this race, and she ends up now with a very big gap to overcome now in the championship. As Stapleton wins today, he was the number 1 seed entering, and he'll end up extending that points margin. As for Laura Chung, it was a tire issue. Look and see if there's anything on the 45. It was a fuel leak. So Drew Webb had a fuel leak issue. He kind of got stuck on pit road. They couldn't get the fuel to stop leaking, I guess, was the cause of that. And that's the unfortunate scenario from today's race at Rockingham, is that, tough track on drivers, tough track on equipment maybe as well. It's a worn-out racetrack. It's a very unique one. Puts a lot of load on these cars, a lot of load on the drivers, and that's just what happens. Things can sometimes break, and unfortunately it's the first race of the chase, and that's what happens. So Stapleton's the one celebrating in victory lane. We'll go check out the finishing results and how the points shape up after one chase race to start out in the DeWalt Cup Series 2025 season. And here is how they finished from the Rheem 400 at the Rockingham Speedway. Nathan Stapleton, it wasn't a dominant victory, but he had everything fall into his lap at the end there. And he's the one who reigns supreme for the 6th time this season at Rockingham. Bryce Egan will follow him home in 2nd place. Moves him up to 2nd in points and still about 12 points back, so he is within striking distance of Nathan Stapleton. Chris Jericho in 3rd. Very solid run for him. Max Davis had to recover a lot today in 4th, and Jerry Chen with the top 5. Definitely one of his better runs as of late, especially for Southern Cross Racing as a whole, because Gabe Willard down there in 7th. Between those two teammates was Martinelli in 6th. Then Rodriguez, Spurley Tube, and Tuck complete the top 10. Once again for Matt Tuck, another race where pit road stuff just dropped in spots, and even before that, though, it was just not the best of cars. So whatever it was today, Matt Tuck just had an off day, even though he was the pole sitter for this race. Some non-chasers finished well. Philip Torres, Matthew Burnett, 11th and 12th. Jack Haas, another chaser, in 13th. So how about that? 11 of the 12 chasers inside the top 13. It would have been 12 inside the top 14 if not for Laura Chung's issues. Jordan Stout, Keegan Thompson, Jacob Miller, Eli Bright, Levi Stone, Justin Zidell all finished on the lead lap. And 20th on down fell a lap or more down. And just the nature of the beast at Rockingham. One car gets out front, or multiple cars get out front that are fast, and they pull away from the rest of the field, and they can easily work by some guys, especially after tire stuff starts to come into play, and some teams are just able to have their cars look after tires a little bit better. And down at the bottom were some drivers that had mechanical issues. Laura Chung exploded a tire there within the final 5 laps. She finishes 41st, and Drew Webb, they could not stop the fuel leak on that number 45. He ends up in 42nd here today at the Rockingham Speedway. So we now take a look at the chase points. Nathan Stapleton entered as the number 1 seed. He'll leave first in points, and 2,077 points. He's up by 12 over Bryce Egan. Brian Rodriguez just 14 points back, so those two still within range. And as we look down through the rest, Chris Jericho and Matt Tucker keeping close enough, keeping tabs at least. They're going to try and stay as close as they can and stay up there along with Jerry Chen. And a tough day for Jack Haas, finishing outside the top 10, and a really tough day for Laura Chung, as she is now 49 points back of the points lead of Nathan Stapleton. A tall task to try and overcome in just 7 races. So it's possible, but it's going to be hard to happen, especially with how strong these top few drivers are running throughout this season. And now we take a look at the owner points. It is Vision Motorsports still on top. It was looking like it's going to be a great day for Honor Island, but they in fact lose a position in points down below Tucson Racing. So it's 2 points between those two, and they're about 90 points back of Vision Motorsports, who's out in front. And EKH Enterprises, Fos Autosport still close, along with Galway Automotive. Southern Cross Racing trying to get back into that fight. And we look through the rest of the owner standings. So we'll start with AG first. The winning team owner, unfortunately though, could have been a 1-2. Just mechanical issues, stuff that you can't control occurring there. So your final thoughts on the first chase race of the season and what we can see for these final 7.
Well, the driver that finished just below Laura Chung in this race has been the victim of a very similar circumstance about this time 2 years ago in the Wawa Cup Series. He went on to win the championship, so maybe that's the way I got to look at it with Laura. I mean, there's so much speed in that 79. That was great to see, and man, that's just a hard pill to swallow. I mean, at least Nathan got the win for us at Honor Island Motorsports, so I'm happy about that. But I'm really gutted for Laura Chung, because that's pretty much going to take her out of contention at this point. She's now last of the chasers, but what a fun race. This was great, and great to be a part of one of these. I think it's probably going to be the only one I'm going to be a part of this season, but definitely hope to have some more collaborations on both ends. And yeah, you guys are great at what you do, and I love hearing your commentary. I think a lot of people do. You two are two of the best at this, and it is so much fun to watch this series and what it has become. Yeah, looking forward to seeing what Nathan does. He's the one I'm hoping on here in these last 7 races.
Thank you for that. And if you think about it, for Laura Chung, 49 points back, 7 races to go, gained 7 points a race on Nathan Stapleton. You're up there. So we'll see if she can try and accomplish that. Could be hard to do, but winner does get a few more points than everyone else. You get points for pole. So we'll see if Laura can do that. Trey, your thoughts from this race at Rockingham? We obviously saw a big shakeup at the end, but in the end, it's the man who's been winning a lot as of late. Nathan Stapleton getting back to victory lane. That's still Stapleton, Tuck, and Jericho have won, I think, all of the last 8 or 9 races combined, those 3. So those are the 3 hottest drivers, and Nathan's maybe the hottest of the hottest drivers, Trey.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's unfortunate for a lot of owners and some of these drivers to say that this isn't the first time that we've been in a race with less than 10 to go, we think we have a clear winner, and something out of the ordinary happens, right? Well, we say out of the ordinary, it's NR. I feel like it happens more than we like to admit, but it definitely shakes things up and makes it interesting, and whoever is sitting in that catbird seat of second place or third place tends to benefit from it, and that's what we had here, and it definitely made it for a very unexpected set of circumstances there, and I'll be curious to see how it all unfolds in the next couple of weeks with, you know, the chase and the standings and all that stuff. But overall, it was a relatively good race.
Yep, and we have some more great racetracks coming out throughout the chase. In fact, next 2 weeks on JRTV. Next time it'll be our last Sunday night race of the season. It'll be from Iowa. That's going to be a fun one. Some short track racing in the chase, the Hy-Vee 350. And then 2 weeks' time is the biggest wild card of them all, the Talladega Superspeedway. Pack racing in the chase. Get out of the way a little bit early, and we'll see if any chasers have their chase chances derailed. And something that could happen at Talladega. Even if there's not a big crash, you could easily time everything wrong and be stuck back at 35th at the checker flag. Only time will tell how those next 2 races go, but they should be some fun and wild ones. Short track racing at Iowa, that's a track that can be unpredictable at times, and then obviously Talladega is the pack racing craziness. So we'll see how it goes. Big thanks to AG and Trey Bardo for joining me in the booth here today for the Rheem 400 at Rockingham, and congratulations to AG on getting a victory for Otter Island Motorsports. That's now 9 on the season, going for double digits next time at Iowa. We'll see if Otter Island can accomplish that with one of their 3 drivers. But thanks to everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next Sunday night. Short track racing from the Iowa Speedway.